honestly, like, missed it in its entirety. The whole, like, move it a week, I'm like, triple booked right now.
You need to calm your life down, Steve. What are you doing? You're double triple booking.
What, do you want
Come on.
professional hugs here?
You need a group hug?
Yeah. All right, are we ready to start? I will call the meeting to order. Got roll call. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. And is there a motion to approve the agenda for this morning's meeting?
I'll make that motion.
And I will second it. Any further questions or additions to the agenda? Otherwise, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C, approval of minutes of March 5th, special meeting of Green Bay Housing Authority. That was in our packet of our electronic packet. Any additions, corrections, or modifications? Hearing none.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Very good.
Second.
All right. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item D, public hearing. Public hearing regarding the GBHA annual plan update to the 5-year plan. So is there a motion to open the public hearing? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Strong.
We have a second? All right, so motion has been made and seconded to open the public hearing. All in favor of opening the public hearing, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. The public hearing is open. Anybody here for the public hearing?
It's nice we're on video now, so.
Big scan of the audience, and there's,
Yeah,
is
do 3 times.
there anybody here to speak at the public hearing? 2. Number 3, is there anybody here to speak at the public hearing? Hearing none, and there being no one in the audience, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Strong motion.
There is a motion, is there a second?
I'll say.
We have a motion, and we have a second to close the public hearing. All in favor of closing the public hearing, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item E, regular business. Number 1, consideration with possible action on approval of the annual plan update to the 5-year plan, including certification of compliance with PHA plans and related regulations, Resolution 19-01, Civil Rights Certification, Resident Advisory Board comments, and certification by local officials of consistency with consolidated plan.
Fabulous. So we are on year 4 of our 5-year plan. So the included attachments are in your packet. Bill will have you sign at the end if you don't mind. The only thing noteworthy to mention is we did some changes in the past 12 months to our ACOP, our admissions and continued occupancy plan. And then we also did select yes for if we plan on doing any new activities for the conversion of public housing to RAD.
Okay.
Just because if we entertain it
Mhm.
and we do not have RAD in our annual plan, we would have to do a significant amendment to our plan.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
since we're thinking of it, we might as well check the box. Doesn't mean that we have to do it or not.
Where did you click to join?
I went
He's not,
back.
because he's not going to vote.
I went,
It's right by his name, right?
nope, under here.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, do I not?
You were there, you just didn't join.
Oh.
Yeah, see, again, it did the same thing. It went, when I put my name in, it went to, you might have to do it again. I went to the agenda and never, I had to go back to join.
Okay.
Okay.
And you know, Kyle, we can capture that. I mean, we don't have to go back to do the votes, we can capture it. There were no names on those prior votes. Okay. And I have motions if you want those.
Okay.
So along with the plan, there were just some things I think that we've worked on in the past year. We've revamped our resident advisory board. Karen's been working with us on that. We kind of really want to empower that board more than we've been in the past. So they're going to help us. We're going to have quarterly meetings. We're going to do a better job of educating the residents on the meetings from this meeting, as well as kind of things that are happening with the building and the RAD, if that happens with the RAB. And we're also, they're working more on their own program. So instead of staff like setting up events, this board is actually saying, well, what do we want to do? So like for the Christmas party, how do you want to do that? The next event is,
The cabin fever party that they, next Tuesday, or is it next Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday.
next
Yep.
Wednesday, so
Yep.
kind of getting
Yep.
people out. And so that was kind of one of the major things we did. You know, with regards to our REACT scores, we're in the standard category. We're always working on, you know, improving safety and quality of the structures we're working on. But the major thing for us is we decreased that occupancy period of time. you know,
Okay.
From 6 months down to like 20 days to turn it around, which is huge because we did not like that. So that was a big thing with our staff to do. And then just, we got the Ross grant this year, which is
$93,000.
Wow.
Ross grant, which allows us, you know, right now, we're paying for our social worker with our unprogrammed dollars. This is a Ross grant that allows us to pay for that social worker.
Awesome.
So that happened this year as well as the WIDA grant for those kitchen repairs for $25,000, we got that as well. And then the big thing, of course, for us will be if we go forward with RAD. So that's a process we're going through this year to see where we are with that.
Yeah, is it peculiar that we would be in the middle of a 5-year plan and it percolated up near the end of that? I mean, yeah, like where was the possibility of RAD in our long-term plan 4 years ago, I guess is what
I'm
you
not
know,
sure if it was considered, I know I had discussions with the prior
Okay.
housing administrator about
Yeah.
RAD. And I don't think it was, RAD wasn't so great. It was difficult to maneuver through, not many were doing it.
Yeah.
I think since that time, HUD is actually is pushing more and more
Sure.
to do it. So, I mean, I think I might have been driving that bus more now.
I wasn't
Which is
here-
why it's not
wasn't here
year
4
one.
years ago, just trying to understand
Yep,
it.
but that's why
yeah.
we're kind of adding it onto this 4th
Okay.
year, 5-year.
Okay.
It was around 5 years ago, but
Yeah.
I don't think
No
nobody
more
was
jumping
looking
on
into
it.
it. Well, and in fairness too, since then, we found out some issues with our generator and our elevator and some major capital improvement expenses. I think that kind of made us think, oh, wait a minute, we're really got the money to do that, so.
Okay, super fair.
Yep.
Is there any roofs going on soon? I saw something come out.
We're bidding it.
Yeah.
We're getting it bid right now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Jack used
Roof
to-
repairs, yep. Yes.
Repairs, not replacement. It's
Correct.
just patching.
Yep, we need to patch it.
Yeah, all right. Great. Off subject.
Nope.
Do
That's part of the
we need anything further before we vote to approve? or-
No, I don't.
Okay.
Sure, questions?
So is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
And I will second. So do you have to vote on this?
Yep.
Yes.
So you're going to bring up the vote thing? or-
Yep, should be good.
Oh, you're going. All right.
It worked.
Yes. All right. Okay. Has everybody voted?
We need one more. Okay, passed.
All right, very good. Moving on to item number 2 under regular business, consideration and possible action to amend Chapter 13, lease terminations of the admissions and continued occupancy plan to comply with Housing Opportunities Through Modernization Act, HOTMA.
All right, so that is also in your packet. HUD has begun to start implementing some of the individual laws in the HOTMA Act that was passed in Congress in 2016. One of them is their over-income policy. So we need to have an addendum in our lease terminations that if any of our family's income has exceeded 120% of the AMI, Green Bay's AMI right now is $43,000. So 120% of that is $51,600 and some change. None of our tenants are nearly close to that. We do have roughly 17 of our households paying the flat rate rent, but none of them are very close to hitting the $51,000.
So if they go over 51,000.
That's when we would have to start looking at terminating their lease, but their income would have to be that for 2 consecutive years.
Okay.
So they can still process interim, so if they go above or below, we're looking for a consistent 2-year of hitting that. So
That's a good,
And then we'd have to give them a 6-month notice that we would catch it at their next annual review, so.
They have to show that for 2 years in a row. None of them have a lease that's more than a year
A year.
anyway.
So we would just have to terminate their tenancy on when they, if they were to hit the 2-year mark.
Is there anything funny about amending somebody's lease with different language?
No, you can do it. There's usually provisions in the lease that say, because it's government-backed programs, there's usually provisions in there that say that if the government regulations change, you have a right to change the basis of your tenancy.
So
Well, the
essentially.
plus is that it's also 6-month notice.
Right.
Compared to like a 30-day notice.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I mean.
It doesn't mean you're wealthy when you're over that. It just means that you don't qualify anymore for the program.
Right.
you know.
Question one, does it literally affect anybody on our list? And no.
Correct.
And question two is, are there,
Mhm.
what ramifications are there to changing somebody's legal document
Right.
that everybody else agreed to whenever?
Yep.
So if, don't have any objections to that.
I like the 2-year period. That's a good idea.
Seems like a-
Well, and they kind of, I mean, we work with the tenants, so
Correct.
they know if they're in that range.
Yeah.
So that discussion is starting to happen, so.
Okay. So is there a, no, you got to vote on this, right?
Yes.
Your motion first.
Motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Oh, we have to, I'm sorry, I'm waiting for the
Yes.
vote.
Yep, nope, it's
What
coming.
comes up?
Yep.
Right, there it is.
I know, it's like,
Takes a while, but it's coming.
You had me at the hot mom.
For a second.
right, that's a government.
Hotmud.gov.
I was Googling hotmud.gov.
Yeah. I hope your computer doesn't get searched.
Sure you were Googling hotmud.gov.
Yours.
All right, we ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay. Item number 3, consideration with possible action to pre-approve GBHA scattered site gutter cleaning contract.
Okay, so.
Go from
we-
hot mud to gutters.
Yeah.
Out of the gutters. So we generally clean our gutters once a year in the fall. Last year, we could not clean them in the fall because things iced up too quickly. So we missed that cleaning. So we like to clean them this year in the spring and the fall. But our contract's expiring, so we need to go for a contract. We do a 5-year contract once a year, with the exception of this year, which we will do it twice. What I'm asking for is approval from the board to allow me to award that contract as long as it doesn't exceed $2,500 a year. So it'd be potentially $5,000 this year, $2,500 each year. It's roughly $17,000 to $2,000 a year. I just, the $2,500 give me some leeway. So that way we won't have to wait till the May meeting.
Sure.
We can get them cleaning right away for spring.
As soon as the snow goes.
Yes. We did have a
Yes.
site visit yesterday,
Huh?
so.
Oh, good. So it's
Quite a
moving
few
along quick.
vendors attend, so.
Oh, that's good. We're a good place.
I'd make a motion to approve this. I wish my wife had to get board approval for having to have our gutters cleaned too.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will wait to vote.
Least favorite thing to do on the planet. Is have a flat roof.
I wish. mine
Okay,
was
motion approved.
All right,
I used to die.
moving on.
Clean gutters.
Informational, GBHA bills. They are in your packet.
Yes, they're in your packet. Does anyone have any questions on them, any concerns? Barring a few hiccups, we got them all signed, but my normal people were gone, so.
So you had the abnormal people sign it?
Yes.
Backups, we went to backups.
Okay. Any questions on the bills?
What would that be, like lefties? I don't know.
More dependable. Well, you don't, I don't think you need to vote. on
No,
it.
there's
These
no,
are all
no, there's no,
information.
this is just voice
Information.
for information.
All
yeah.
right. All right. Any questions? None? All right. We'll move on to the GBHA finance report.
also sent out. We're getting close to the end of our year, we're in April, so we got 2 more months, well, 2.5 months, then we'll be at the end of our year, so we're starting budget prep. That's where we're at.
Budget.
Yeah.
Any questions on the financial?
For me, but not for everybody else.
No question.
Moving on, item number 3 is the lining report.
Also in your packet, they provided how many applications and current fraud investigations that we have going on for our Mason Manor and Scattered Sites program. Looking over the whole year.
All right. Any questions?
No.
Hearing none, moving on to director's report.
All right, so a few things. You're right, we're looking at getting our roof repaired, so Public Works, I think, is out to bid on that now. We had some leakage that happened. It probably happening now, I don't know, in some spots that figured out where that's coming from, so we're just gonna do that roof repair. That will come back to the May meeting for approval. We are also working with Lutheran Social Services. They're the agency that provides our service coordinator now at Mason Manor. They will also work with us on administering that Ross grant. So the Ross grant is great, but it's very burdensome with regards to the reporting requirements on it. It's very specific, but they're willing to work with us on that. So we're talking with them. We have a contract with them now for the service coordinator that we have now, and they would add, I think it's in the trend, I have to look at it again, how much a year to administer the Ross grant and do the paperwork, so.
And going from part-time to full-time.
Yes, right, because right now we have a part-time coordinator that will go to a full-time coordinator out there, which is,
Dollar amount for that staff covered in the grant.
yes,
Yep.
yes.
The administration.
Yeah, so now that was coming out of our unrestricted dollars, which is great because that can stay there.
That was you said it was 190,000?
Mhm.
The grant we received, right, it was for $193,000 over 3 years.
3 years, okay. So that covers benefits and the whole,
Is the
Oh, kids are willing.
social worker component of it, but the administrative for administering the grant itself is also in that, or
Correct.
it's the same?
It's also-
These are two separate things.
yeah.
Yep, and that's also, that's a qualifying, we don't have to pay for the administration of that social worker, it's covered in the Ross grant. As well as like office supplies and those, we don't really need those, but,
Okay.
yeah, it's a great grant, I'm surprised we got it, right? The next step for us when we were gonna look at the RAD was the capital improvements plan, and we were looking at getting, and we actually did some calling around. There's a big difference in cost and provisions for this plan, and we're not quite sure why. We got just a quick quote on it based on our square footage and our numbers, and that quote came in at $18,600, which is the full comprehensive report that is needed if you go through RAD, which is an energy audit, ESA, a reliance, it's the whole kit and caboodle. Some other research we did though, Sheboygan had one done and paid $3,600. Dane County had one done, it was $18,000. Not quite sure what the difference in those prices are. But on that note, our May meeting, which is May 16th, HUD reps will be here to talk to us about RAD. So they're really pushing this because they
Yeah.
called us on that. They're like, hey, I think we're going to be in town on your board day.
Coincidentally.
Which is good because some of these questions I have is like, I don't want to waste money on a report on $18,000 if I can get a $3,000
Yeah.
one that'll meet the needs, right?
Yeah, I don't want to report this garbage.
Exactly,
Yeah, right.
exactly. But if there are some provisions that we are going to need, better to do it now, I would think. But those are questions I have for the HUD reps that are coming in. So they're coming in for our next meeting in May. And I think those are some of the things we can ask them from the HUD perspective. Because we had the developer come in, which is
Right.
pitching the program, because that's where they make the money, right? But it'd be nice to hear in the HUD standard, like what they see coming down the pipe.
I
and-
think we left it wide open because there was a shutdown in place, right? We were
Yeah.
excited to
Yeah.
get some information
Yep,
from them.
yes.
Yeah.
So they don't usually come. I mean, I'm very happy they're coming. They don't usually travel the cities
This is-
unless they're monitoring us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's usually
I've
bad.
been here for almost 20 years now, and I've never had to show up for a meeting.
There you go. And it's for good reason.
Yeah, yeah.
So what are you saying about, I might have to wear a necktie that day?
Come as you are.
I mean, sometimes they come to meetings that, the board is like renegade and doing bad things, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so this is good that we actually have them, because they'll be here, they're coming in the morning, and we'll give them a tour of Mason Manor, and then we'll just, we'll get every ounce of info we can out of them
Sure.
while they're here. And then our next meeting, that will be the main meeting, the 16th. And that's all I have.
Just something that I have, put my other hat on, where I'm the attorney for the water utility.
Mm-hmm.
We had that subpoena from HUD.
Yes.
We answered that, we had
Yeah.
to.
Yep.
They wanted a list of every utility customer in the city. They wanted a boatload of information on all the lead
Mhm.
testing that was done.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted the names of all the customers. They wanted the addresses, the names, and the test results. So
I'm
that,
wondering if they're tying it to voucher, or to,
I
Oh, that
have
could be.
no idea.
that's gonna be my guess.
We had an issue under the utility rules. There's a privacy component to it
Right.
that limits the ability to release names.
Right.
But when we did the research on it, it was more account information, so you can't release, if somebody's delinquent or.
Mhm, right,
So,
right.
we were able to, we got a quasi opinion from the Attorney General's office that said we were okay to release names and addresses.
Mhm.
Because names, or addresses, there's no protection for. Names, you can get if you have the address, you can get the names from the county's website.
Right,
So
right.
It's not really protected.
Public
Right.
Yeah, it's already
And
public
you assume they have
information.
water
But
under construction.
in unfolding all of this from HUD, this came from their Inspector General's office.
Yes,
Yes.
because, we talked with them.
Yes.
They
and so-
wanted to speak with us first.
Right, and we had about an hour-long conference with 3 of their auditors and their inspector generals, Kelly Anderson,
Okay.
and what's this all about? And they wouldn't
Right.
tell us, so they said, we just want the information. But the information kind of focused on the lead removal programs and those kinds of things.
I guess my opinion is that I feel like they are monitoring HUD to see if HUD has been working with housing authorities and looking out for lead. Because our questions were, a lot of it was like, we've had everything tested, all of our scattered sites were
Mhm.
tested for lead. And then I also had a list of all the lead lines that were replaced in the city, and I
Right.
believe all of our scattered sites had those lines replaced.
Yes.
So we
There
were
was, it was
good.
covered in the minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
When we talked about that, but then there was a lot of questions about our notifications from HUD.
Yes.
Have you been noticed from HUD that you needed to?
Yeah, that's what they were.
I said, I'm relatively new, I have not received anything, but then
Yeah.
after that, we received, I'm actually meeting with the health department, along with the Brown County Housing Authority next week, to talk
That's
about
what
lead
we-
notifications. and-
That's, they wanted to see copies of the notices that went out to property owners from the utility, which is all on the website.
Right,
All that's,
right.
the names aren't there, the addresses are,
Mhm.
and all that testing information was all on the website. And
Yeah.
I told them that, they said, no, we want you to actually submit it to us.
Well,
So
Green
it's-
Bay's done a phenomenal job with removing, I mean, just
Mhm.
from our discussions with them, they're like, it's unbelievable what
Yes.
Green Bay has done, comparatively speaking, to other municipalities in our lead lines. But you think they could spend full time in Flint? I'm not sure.
Well, but they were one of the 3 people that was on the conference call that kind of mentioned that the Green Bay has been kind of out front on a lot of this, and Nancy Quirk has been
Yeah.
pushing all that sort of thing. So
Right.
the other sort of impression that we got coming out of that conference was that they might be trying to use Green Bay as a model to push on to other communities
Oh.
that have
Mhm.
scattered
Older-
sites and
older
type
communities, yeah.
of things.
I mean,
that use it.
that doesn't sound like a scenario where they need somebody's legal representation to put together a list of the names and numbers.
Right.
So that sounds like a marketing component.
Yeah, but and it was strange too, because we first got a public records request, and then we were in the process of finding out exactly what they wanted, and all of a sudden we got hit with a subpoena. And the guy that I talked to said that in other communities, he didn't identify them, he said that they ran into obstacles with just a straight public records request.
Oh.
And so they went right to the subpoena.
Maybe they're, yeah.
Skip
Wait.
the-
Yeah. So subpoena carries more weight than a public records request, because if you don't honor the public records request, then they have to start a lawsuit and sue you. If you don't honor a subpoena, they come and shackle you and take you off to a judge down the street.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I have a meeting set up along with Adam from BCHA to talk with the health department, because right now, if a child comes up with lead poison, there's a notification process that happens, because I know that we've received it up here with inspection. Our inspection department is notified, because the health department can actually shut a place down for lead.
Mhm.
They don't usually get involved in housing inspection issues, but they'll do that for lead, and then we get involved because we follow up. So, I mean, and that's one thing, I don't know if there's a better way to communicate that in case something happened with Scapula, Scattered Sites, for example, that they notify us. But, so, we'll do that. We need to have, we were requested by HUD to have
a memorandum of understanding.
with the health department on that, which I don't believe we've ever done. I couldn't find it. So we'll get that done and send that in.
Yeah.
Get them to some of these environmental treatment class action.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Green Bay is, as you said, far and away out there in front of this rather than being behind it.
Yep.
But part of the other problem is that the cost of this, and people just, I mean, like any municipal agency, it's, it's sort of hand to mouth.
Right.
And all of a sudden you get this big cost for lead removal, and where do you, so it gets balled up in the
Mhm.
discussion of how do we finance all this. You just think of some of the stuff, particularly Milwaukee.
Mhm.
I don't know how many we have, like 800
Yeah.
things they've got, like
Crazy
25,000.
spillways,
Right.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Their infrastructure's so much messier than ours.
Yes.
You know, I'm like, we're a single-story building
Mhm.
all the way around.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
right.
that's a different deal when you're 20 stories, you know.
Right.
Some cost ramifications to the maintenance of utility and vertical. Dumb question that I'm not good enough with detail. Do we always carry a director's report in this agenda? I feel like that, do we populate that no matter what, always have it? Or is it when you have?
When has it been on?
It's
Last month, it was the first one, wasn't it?
Yep.
So it's called something else before that.
Oh, okay.
We call it
Housing
something.
updates.
It was the housing update.
We're calling it housing updates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our director's report. I think the RDA, I mean, a lot of other committees have a director's report,
Yeah.
so I can keep you
No,
abreast of
no, I love
things
it,
that
I
are
love it, I
happening.
love it.
I mean, we can change it if you want.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Do we have this thing all the time? This is good.
It makes me accountable to actually report what's going on, right? Otherwise, it's.
All right, any further questions regarding the director's report? Otherwise, we'll move on to item number 5, occupancy report for March 2019.
also in your packets. What month are we in, April? March was a heavy month for us with the 12 vacancies, so we are moving along on those. We've had quite a few springtime people like to move, they're looking at different options in the community, and this month and May, we are being hit with quite a few for more vacancies, more or less Mason Manor, only because we do have an elderly population that needs just to move on to more services that they need now. So we're trucking on, we're doing really good, and
Close to 100% for April.
close to
Yeah,
100%.
that's outstanding. Do you know what's our waiting list? How many people, like how long is our waiting list for Mason Manor?
For Mason Manor right now, it's about a 6 to 8 months wait,
Okay.
just because of the vacancies that are coming. But
Okay.
usually it was about a year's wait, but it
Okay.
got shorter with all the vacancies that's come up.
Yep.
For scattered sites is different for each bedroom size. So
Okay.
for 4-bedroom right now, I'm running out of applications on the waiting list.
Okay.
So that wait with a couple houses that are opening is literally like 1 to 2 months, 1 to 3 months.
Oh, for the larger families?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and then same for a 3-bedroom, it's gotten short, it's about a one,
Okay.
it was a 1-year unit, or wait, but now
Mhm.
it's about a 3 to 6.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. So.
So we have, other than 4-bedroom units, we have enough on a waiting list to actually keep
Yes.
the supply going?
Yes, so the longest waiting list is
It's good or-
this
it's good or bad?
2-bedroom one.
So what do you do with your time now?
Still filling the vacancies. I always feel like I catch up, but then I don't because then more open, so.
There's one of them that's got eviction plus pest control, like one of the first eviction ones. What was that about? Was that somebody who was not complying?
That's
Like
not-
720.
Oh, they had a pest control issue, so we got that unit offline. So we were able to not have the 30-day unit turnaround because of pest control, but they had evictions for a different reason.
Oh, okay.
I stopped down to
Sounds like we have a
see
lot
the
of
mayor on my
evictions.
way up there.
Well, and part of that
Scattered
now is the
sites.
HUD requirements for the non-payment of rent. I mean, I think in the past, staff could carry them for longer, but not so much. I think you do the 5-day notices. and then-
All right. Any further questions? I think we're right for adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Look at that.
Personal hero. I would make a motion to adjourn.
I got the same thing last night when Vanessa, at our ethics board meeting, we got her out just in time to go pick up her child from daycare, for the daycare closed, so. So we have a motion to adjourn, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion, any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for
Steve, are you
making it on this
opposing?
crappy day.
All right.